almost went live. Hello.
Hi, Wanderers.
How's it going?
Hope your week's going well.
I hope you're staying cool because it is hot as balls. Where we are.
It is indeed. Not just any balls.
No, Satan's balls.
But the balls of Satan himself.
Yeah, for sure.
It's hot.
So, I told Chelsea right before we started recording, I got a little surprise for. So, y'all remember back in the day, like, when we, first started using email all the time, and we'd send back and forth, these chain letters, and it's like, forward this to 10 of your friends, and blah, 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 and it would say, some of the craziest stuff.
Yeah?
Okay. So, I got a handwritten one from 1983.
Oh my god, I remember us mailing those.
Yeah. So I've been scrapbooking all of my granny's poems, and somehow in the mix of that, I found this, and I think she wrote it to her brother-in-law, but maybe never sent it. I don't know, but it's a good one. So, Mr. Dudley, this letter is being sent to you, for we know that you are critically interested in your front lawn. The spring season is now upon us. This is a fertilizer club, and it will not cost you a cent to join. Upon receipt of this letter, go to the top of the list and shit on his front lawn. You will not be the only one there, so don't be embarrassed. Then, make 5 copies of this letter and mail it to your friends who appreciate good lawns. You will not get any money or checks. But within 1 week, if this chain is not broken, there will be 9,216 people shitting on your front lawn. Your reward will come next year when you will have the greenest lawn in the neighborhood. Mr. Harry Butt, 236 Corncob Alley. Miss Lucy Bowles, 29 Bedpan Court. Mrs. Charles Syringe, I think is what that says. Oh, it is. 1442 Enema Drive. Mrs. Opal Crap, 2 Suppository Lane. Mr. Tough Shits, 124 Poopsville Avenue. Mr. Smelly Behind, 470 Diarrhea Way. P.S. If you are constipated, pass this letter on to a friend. Do not breach this chain. One man didn't give a shit, and look at his front lawn. He lost it. He lost his entire front lawn. Sincerely, a concerned friend.
So, we think that she, formulated this in her own brain?
I have no idea.
I mean, listen.
It wouldn't shock me.
You as listeners, I'm going to say that there's, a handful of you, 1, 2, maybe 3, that actually have ever met and knew Granny P.
Oh. Hilarious.
The woman had the sense of humor like none other. She's the funniest lady I've ever met.
Would never hesitate to laugh at a fart joke.
Oh, no. She thought farts were funny just like I do. But, some of the stuff that she just, you think of, an old granny, just, being all prim, proper, cute, and sweet. No.
Mm-mm.
She was once telling me about a guy that she worked with.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the way she would shuffle around like he did.
Some
bitch. She was the funniest thing. I just... God,
well, also,
her.
too, in this poetry book that I'm putting together, I found some poems, because she wrote a lot of poems. Good Lord, she wrote a lot of poems. But some people gave her poems back. Mm. And one said, P.S. so-and-so said, you're still the meanest woman he's ever met.
Bless her. The one thing about this woman, and she made it like, clear. She did not like children.
Yeah, she
like, at all.
She only ever had one.
Well, yeah. But, like, I didn't dare bring my kids to her house to visit. She had zero relationship with my children. But she would all the time tag me and stuff on Facebook about, like, cool little, like, projects and stuff that I could do with the kids. And then she even came to my baby shower. There's, the greatest picture ever of her.
Oh, she looked so grouchy.
She looked so mad.
But she had a good time.
She did.
She really enjoyed the dirty diaper game we played.
That was so gross.
Because she had never seen that before in her life.
That was so gross.
That's my favorite.
Well.
So anyway, we're talking about UFOs this week.
Oh. So yeah. You've heard a lot about UFOs here lately. You know, there's been a lot of quote-unquote sightings. So we decided that maybe...
Now's the time.
Maybe.
To... I don't know. That sentence got away from me.
Do you have any stories about being probed?
No.
Again, we don't want you to send us pictures of where you were probed.
No, absolutely not. Please no. That one time was traumatizing enough. I still think about that every once in a while, and I'm like, that was weird. Like, I would, like, sit. Like, I would be sitting there, it'd be silent, and I'd look at Danny and go, that was weird, right?
Oh, you can always count on TJ for a good laugh. I feel like I had thought about, like, a million things that I wanted to talk about outside of the topics that we had set forth to record about, and now I can't think of a single dadgum thing that I wanted to talk about. So, let's do the dang thing.
I think it's raining.
Is it? I don't see any rain. I think you're crazy.
No, the deck looks wet.
It's because it's humid.
That's true. But it looks like raindrops.
It's like rainforest status out there.
It really is.
Outside,
and it's going to be like that for a while.
It's like instant swamp ass season.
Yeah, and we've got like more of that Canadian smoke coming down, so it's all smoggy too.
Thanks, Canada. We didn't need to be saged.
I don't think I'm leaving the house. Maybe that's why so many people are like losing their minds right now.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Demons are being expelled.
So, I guess I'm going to start. And I'm going to start with one of the most famous UFO sightings in history. The Roswell incident. So on June 14th, you hear crinkle, crinkle?
Crinkle, crinkle, bitch!
On June 14th, 1947, a rancher named W.W. Mac Brazel and his son Vernon were driving across their ranch about 80 miles northwest of Roswell, New Mexico, when they encountered something they'd never experienced in their lives. In Brazel's words, it was a large area of bright wreckage made up of rubber strips, tinfoil, and rather tough paper and sticks. The metallic-looking, lightweight fabric was scattered and shredded across the gravel and sagebrush of the New Mexico desert. Brazel didn't know what to do with the items or how they would have ended up on his property to begin with. And on July 4th, I don't know why he waited so long, he collected all of the pieces of the mysterious wreckage, and on July 7th, he drove it all to Roswell and delivered the pieces to Sheriff George Wilcox. Sheriff Wilcox was just as confounded as Brazel. To seek answers, Sheriff Wilcox contacted Colonel Butch Blanchard, the commander of Roswell Army Airfield's 509th Composite Group, and Blanchard was also unsure of what to do. So he worked his way up his chain of command and decided to contact his superior, General Roger W. Ramey, commander of the 8th Air Force in Fort Worth, Texas. Colonel Blanchard also sent Major Jesse Marcel, an intelligence officer from the base, to investigate more thoroughly. And Marcel went out to the site and collected all of the wreckage with the sheriff and Brazel. As they attempted to ascertain what the materials were, Marcel chose to make a public statement, which was probably not the greatest idea.
Excuse me.
So on July 8th, Marcel's comments were published in the local afternoon newspaper, the Roswell Daily Record, with the accompanying headline, RAAF captures flying saucer on ranch in Roswell. The story contained the memorable but dramatic statement, the intelligence officer of the 509th Bombardment Group at Roswell Army Airfield announced at noon today that the field has come into the possession of a flying saucer.
Side note, sorry to interrupt, I'm pretty sure I just saw a fairy in your yard. That was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my whole life.
What did it look like?
A freaking fairy!
Well, I don't know. Did it have little wings?
Yes, it was like floating around.
It
didn't look like a bug. It was just weird. I'm sorry. Okay.
You're good.
Continue.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. There's a lot of weird goings on in this piece of property. But anyways, retired curator of space history at the Smithsonian's National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. said, a flying saucer was easier to admit than Project Mogul. And with that, we were off to the races. So, for those not in the know like myself, Project Mogul was a project that the United States implemented after the detonation of the first atomic bomb in 1945, where balloons, similar to weather balloons, carried sensors and radar reflectors that would essentially eavesdrop on Russian nuclear testing.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
Yeah. This is a very, very abridged version of this project, and if you have any more interest in learning more, I've linked it in the episode notes. I had a cat hair fly in front of my face. Earlier in June of 1947, Navy seaman. Is there a different word I can use? Navy seaman Harold Dahl claimed to have seen 6 unidentified flying objects in the sky near Maury Island in Washington State. The next morning, Dahl said he was sought out and debriefed by Men in Black.
I'm sorry. Seaman and debriefed in the same couple sentences. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm 15. I'm sorry.
3 days later, an amateur pilot named Kenneth Arnold claimed to have seen 9 blue glowing objects flying fast, an estimated 1,700 miles per hour, in a V formation by Mount Rainier, Washington.
How did he see it if they were going that fast?
I didn't ask questions. It's just what my source said. I had to double check that was. I didn't mistype that. But I did not. That's what it said. At first, he believed the objects to have been some sort of new military aircraft, but the military confirmed that there were no tests being conducted in that area at that time. By the end of 1947, mass hysteria had seized the global mindset, with more than 300 alleged flying saucer sightings in the last 6 months of that year alone. But circling back around to Brazel and his wreckage on his ranch, when this occurred, he had heard the tales of the flying saucers, which is what prompted him to reach out to authorities with his discovery. However, just one day after the Air Force announced that it had come into possession of a flying saucer, Roswell's morning newspaper had debunked the story. A published statement from the War Department in Washington claimed that the debris collected from Brazel's ranch was the remains of a weather balloon, and the local Roswell Dispatch printed the headline, Army debunks Roswell flying disc as world simmers with excitement, on July 9th. And even though the rumors of extraterrestrial visitors had been put to rest by the government, the public didn't let it die so easily. It didn't take long before there were more stories of sightings and crashes, including a second crash in New Mexico that was supposedly scattered the ship and its tiny green crewmen across the landscape. Also, any secret government property, from nuclear sites to engineering test locations, was suspected to house deceased or imprisoned aliens. Most evidenced by this is Area 51, an off-limits airstrip and aircraft engineering and development facility inside the Nevada test site about 90 minutes north of Las Vegas. It was rumored that aliens from the Roswell spacecraft and other crash sites were either being autopsied or slid into cylindrical gas tanks containing gel-like preservatives. No efforts were made by the government to quell these rumors either, as most of their secretive sites had large no trespassing signs, often with a reminder to those who enter illegally, use of deadly force authorized. In Roswell, the populace had been cashing in on the alien craze for some time, with the town being home to the International UFO Museum and Research Center. The local Walmart even got into the spirit, with its walls and front windows being decorated with green-skinned, large-headed aliens. And Roswell's Civic Seal Sports and Artists... Hold on. Roswell's Civic Seal Sports and Artists rendering of an alien and even the exterior of the town's local McDonald's has enough spacecraft-esque accessories to look like a ship preparing to take off. And along Main Street are toy aliens, flying saucers, and other extraterrestrial affirma. I don't know why I put that word in there. Being sold in local shops. And that's a dumbed down version of the Roswell incident. It was just a spy device. But aliens was easier to let people think it was. So.
It was going to be mass hysteria either way.
Yeah, either way people were going to freak out, but now I'm trying to see the fairy.
Oh, it's gone. The second time you caught me looking out the window, it's my arch nemesis.
Oh, Toby?
No. The chicken.
Oh, the chicken. Do you want to tell the chicken story?
No. It's not funny. I was traumatized. I could have died.
Yeah, it was fine. You scared
I came over here to get something when she wasn't home, and because I have a key. And so when I pulled in the driveway, there were chickens that do not belong to her in the driveway. And one of them was like making weird noises and coming at me. And she caught it on video. No, we're not sharing that with the listeners. But
I do have a screenshot though. Can I share that?
No. And then
it's the chicken running away from you. It's so funny.
Are you sure it wasn't me going, "Wah!"
Well, it's a screenshot from that.
Oh my god. But the video does not do justice to the terror in my body.
I was on the phone with her the whole time, and I'm just sitting over there just dying laughing.
Bitch.
The Lubbock Lights. So on August 25th, 1951, it was a quiet summer night in Lubbock, Texas. A handful of scientists from Texas Technical College were having a get-together in the backyard of geology professor Dr. W.I. Robinson, drinking tea and chatting about micrometeorites. The scientists were chemical engineering professor Dr. A.G. Oberg, physics professor, and it just said Dr. George. I don't have a last name for him unless George is his last name. And he was like, I don't want y'all knowing my real name. And the head of the petroleum engineering department, Dr. W.L. Ducker. U.S. Air Force Captain Edward J. Ruppelt was quoted as saying, "If a group had been handpicked to observe a UFO, we couldn't have picked a more technically qualified group of people." In the early 1950s, Ruppelt served as lead investigator for Project Blue Book, the official Air Force investigations into UFO sightings after working on its precursor effort, Project Grudge. At approximately 9:20 p.m., the colleagues saw something that can only be described as otherworldly in the expansive Texas sky. A V-shaped formation of 15 to 30 bluish-green lights passing overhead. Stunned, but attempting to still utilize their scientific trained reasoning, they figured the lights would reappear. The lights did reappear about an hour later in a much more haphazard formation. The scientists agreed that they had seen something fantastic, but had no idea what it was. These witnesses weren't the only credible witnesses to have seen these mysterious lights that night. At dusk in Albuquerque, New Mexico, about 350 miles away from Lubbock, an employee of the Atomic Energy Commission's top secret Sandia Corporation, a man with a high-level Q security clearance, had been sitting outside with his wife. According to Ruppelt, they were gazing at the night sky, commenting on how beautiful it was, when both of them were startled at the sight of a huge airplane flying swiftly and silently over their home. On the aft edge of the wings, there were 6 to 8 pairs of soft, glowing, bluish lights. Just an hour or so after, according to a retired rancher from Lubbock, his wife had seen something terrifying in the sky, which Ruppelt described. Just after dark, his wife had gone outdoors to take some sheets off the clothesline. He was inside the house reading the newspaper. Suddenly, his wife rushed into the house, as white as the sheets she was carrying. The reason his wife was so upset was that she had seen a large object glide swiftly and silently over the house. She said it looked like an airplane without a body. On the back edge of the wing were pairs of glowing bluish lights. Ruppelt flew into Lubbock to investigate the sightings in late September, and by this time, hundreds of residents had seen the lights over a period of 2 weeks. Not everyone in the area was willing to wait on the government to give them answers on these mysterious lights. After alerting local papers such as the Lubbock Avalanche Journal, the Texas Tech professors started their own informal investigation. And in the weeks following their initial sighting on August 25th, they and their friends observed the lights 12 more times. They measured the lights' angles, roughly calculated their speed, and noticed that they always traveled from north to south. Armed with walkie-talkies, the scientists turned sleuths and their friends formed 2 teams and attempted to measure the UFO's altitude, but did not have much success. As the days passed, more and more residents of Lubbock claimed to have seen the lights. When the professors cross-checked these reports against what they had seen and recorded themselves, many of the facts lined up, according to Ruppelt. Very few of the reporters of this phenomenon had recorded the lights with the same level of details as the professors, though. Even though some of the observers offered incomplete or poorly expressed recollections, there is little doubt that whatever people were seeing was something real. Typically, UFO sightings are one-off events, but these bluish-green lights were observed multiple times by hundreds of people. And there is some physical proof with black and white photos that were taken by a Texas Tech freshman named Carl Hart Jr. On August 31st, the same night, an Air Force wife and her daughter claimed to have seen a UFO while driving northwest from Matador, Texas to Lubbock. Hart was keeping vigil in his bedroom, looking out for the infamous lights. Ruppelt wrote, "It was a warm night, and his bed was pushed over next to an open window. He was looking out at the clear night sky, and had been in bed for about half an hour when he saw a formation of the lights appear in the north, cross an open patch of sky, and disappear over his house. Knowing that the lights might reappear as they had done in the past, he grabbed his loaded Kodak 35, set the lens and shutter at f3.5 and 1/10 of a second, and went out into the middle of the backyard. Before long, I have an ant on me. Before long, his vigil was rewarded when the lights made a second pass. He got 2 pictures. A third formation went over a few minutes later, and he got 3 more pictures. These images, which are debated, show a cluster of dim lights in a V formation moving through the night sky, and are the only visual representation of what hundreds of people have claimed to see. As Ruppelt investigated, he found that the lights had affected all those who saw them, including a hardened old man named Lamsa, who had witnessed them with his wife. He broke off his story of the lights and launched into his background as a native Texan, with range wars, Indians, and stagecoaches under his belt, Ruppelt recalled of their interview. What he was trying to point out was that despite the range wars, Indians, and stagecoaches, he had been scared. His wife had been scared too. The old Lamsa man had suggested that the lights were actually plover birds, a theory which Ruppelt lent some credence to, which I looked up those type of birds, and I don't know how you would mistake them for lights, but just like many people that Ruppelt had interviewed, the old man admitted that he and his wife had been looking for the lights after reading about them in the paper. This was the common thread tying together the statements of many of the witnesses of the Lubbock lights. In the report on unidentified flying objects, Ruppelt offers an oddly evasive explanation of the lights. I thought that the professor's lights might have been some kind of birds reflecting the light from mercury vapor street lights, but I was wrong. They aren't birds. They weren't refracted light, but they weren't spaceships. The lights that the professor saw have been positively identified as a very commonplace and easily explainable natural phenomenon. I can't divulge exactly the way the answer was found because it is an interesting story of how a scientist set up complete instrumentation to track down the lights. Telling the story would lead to his identity, and in exchange for his story, I promised the man complete anonymity. With the most important phase of the Lubbock lights solved, the sightings by the professors, the other phases become only good UFO reports. Today, the mystery of the Lubbock lights remains unsolved. According to Dr. Monty L. Monroe, Southwest Collection archivist at Texas Tech University, the professors and other witnesses grew tired of explaining themselves and what they saw and almost totally ceased giving interviews by the 1970s. In a rare informal interview more than 40 years after the sightings, Carl Hart Jr. reportedly told author and UFO researcher Kevin D. Randall that he still had no idea what he had photographed that August night many moons ago. But like the hundreds of other witnesses to this phenomenon that weird Texas summer, he knows he saw something. So, that's weird. That's suspicious. And that's the last story I have. I thought I wrote more than that, but I guess I didn't.
Well, I am going to give y'all some information that I've found on a couple of websites. The first one, I've got a couple stories of sightings, and then I've got some things that we've learned about aliens. So the first one, I'm getting this from history.com. The lights above the New Jersey Turnpike in 2001. So it's a little bit more recent. But anyway, on July 14th of 2001, drivers on the New Jersey Turnpike kind of just stopped along the highway, and, they all saw something. For around 15 minutes just after midnight, they all saw a strange orange and yellow lights, or saw strange orange and yellow lights in a V formation over the Arthur Kill Waterway between Staten Island, New York, and Carteret, New Jersey. The Carteret Police Department's Lieutenant Daniel Tarrant was one of the witnesses, as well as other metro area residents from the Throngs Neck Bridge on Long Island and Fort Lee, New Jersey, near the George Washington Bridge. All traffic controllers initially denied that any airplanes, military jets, or space flights could have caused the mysterious lights, but a group known as the New York Strange Phenomena Investigators claimed to receive FAA radar data that corroborated with the UFO sightings from that night. 2004, the USS Nimitz encounter. On November 14th of 2004, the USS Princeton, part of the USS Nimitz carrier strike group, noted that there was an unknown craft on radar 100 miles off the coast of San Diego. For 2 weeks, the crew had been tracking objects that appeared at 80,000 feet and then plummeted to hover right over the Pacific Ocean. When 2 FA-18F fighter jets from the aircraft carrier USS Nimitz arrived in the area, they first saw what appeared to be churning water with the shadow of an oval shape underneath the surface. Then, in a few moments, a white tic-tac shaped object appeared above the water. It had no visible markings to indicate an engine, wings, or windows, and infrared monitors didn't reveal any exhaust. Black Aces Commander David Fravor and Lieutenant Commander Jim Slight of Strike Fighter Squadron 41 attempted to intercept the craft, but it accelerated away, reappearing on the radar 60 miles away. It moved 3 times the speed of sound and more than twice the speed of the fighter jets.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. In 2006, Flight 446 was getting ready to fly to North Carolina from Chicago's O'Hare International Airport when a United Airlines employee on the tarmac noticed a gray metallic craft hovering over gate C-17. That day, which was November 7th, 2006, a total of 12 United employees and a few witnesses outside the airport spotted a saucer-shaped craft around 4:15 p.m. Witnesses say it hovered for about 5 minutes before shooting upward, where it broke a hole in the clouds, enough that pilots and mechanics could see the blue sky. The news report became the most read story on the Chicago Tribune's website to that date and made international news. However, because the UFO was not seen on radar, the FAA called it a weather phenomenon and declined to investigate. Likely story.
Right. That's what I'd say too if I found something.
The small town of Stephenville, Texas, 100 miles southwest of Dallas, is mostly known for its dairy farms, but on the evening of January 8, 2008, dozens of its residents viewed something unique in the sky. What's up with Texas?
I don't know. I think Texas is
It's a hot spot.
I guess so. So big.
I almost said something it's like a saying that I've heard, but it's very derogatory, so I'm going to leave it alone. Citizens reported seeing white lights above Highway 67, first in a single horizontal arc, and then in vertical parallel lines. Local pilot Steve Allen estimated that the strobe lights spanned about 1 mile long and a half-mile wide, traveling about 3,000 miles an hour. No sound was reported, though. Witnesses believe the event was reminiscent of the Phoenix Light sighting of 1997, while the U.S. Air Force revealed weeks later that F-16s were flying in the Brownwood military operating areas just southwest of Stevensville. Many townspeople didn't buy that explanation, believing that what they saw was too technologically advanced for human abilities. This story is called, and this is the last story, and then I've got the things that we've learned, the East Coast Go Fast video in 2015. Mm-hmm. News leaked in 2017 about the Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program. A video emerged that revealed an encounter between an FA-18 Super Hornet and an unidentified aerial phenomenon. Seen along the East Coast on a Raytheon Advanced Targeting Forward-Looking Infrared pod. That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
The craft was similar to that spotted off of San Diego in 2004. A fast-moving white oval about 45 feet long without wings or exhaust plume. The pilots tracked the object at 25,000 feet above the Atlantic Ocean as it flew away and simultaneously rotated on its axis. No explanation ever emerged. Can you, that's just a weird thought to think about it, going real fast straight, but it's also rotating at the same time.
Yeah, that is weird.
That's kind of
I don't know that my brain can process it.
Right, I was about to say, it's kind of like a mind melting thing.
Yeah. Look, we're doing so good.
So, now, from livescience.com, 9 things we've learned about aliens in 2021.
Ooh.
If I can get my computer to, do the thing. UFOs are real, and the government knows it, is number one.
Mm-hmm.
In June, the Pentagon released a highly anticipated report detailing 144 UFO encounters between 2004 and 2021, which we will link this website in the episode notes.
Yes.
And in this link, like I said, it's livescience.com, there's a link to that report. The report was meant to assess the threat posed by unidentified aerial phenomena and officially confirmed several UFO sightings that had, until then, only been shared through viral media. On one hand, the brief 9-page assessment confirmed that most of the UAP reported, the unidentified aerial phenomena, probably do represent physical objects, which range from birds and balloons to foreign surveillance equipment and top-secret U.S. government projects. However, anyone hoping for an acknowledgement of extraterrestrial intelligence may have been let down when the report failed to link any of the 144 encounters to alien activity. I still say it's real.
I mean, I think that this universe is so large.
It's insane for us to think that we're the only living beings.
It's very selfish to think.
That's a good way to put it. I never thought of saying it's selfish.
It's very self-absorbed. Like, no, we're top dog.
Right.
When we're probably not. We're probably like ants to something else out in the universe, which is, I don't even want to think about it. It hurts my brain to think about it.
Anxiety inducing sometimes.
Yes.
So number 2, and I read this one and I was like, wow. Because it's one of those that makes you think. Black holes could be alien powerhouses. Think about it. While alien hunters spend plenty of time searching for habitable planets beyond our solar system, a study published in July in the journal Monthly Notices of the Royal Astronomical Society warns that scientists shouldn't overlook nature's most extreme objects, black holes. Because black holes can radiate up to 100,000 times more energy than a star like our sun, they may make tempting targets for alien civilizations to look to power their interstellar enterprises, and the study authors wrote. To do this, aliens could use high-tech structures called Dyson spheres, which are giant energy siphoning orbs first proposed in the 1960s, to steal energy from the disk of white-hot matter swirling around the black hole's horizon, then radiate that energy outward into space. That re-radiated energy would create a distinct wavelength signature that astronomers could detect from Earth, the study authors suggested. The researchers are currently developing algorithms to search through existing telescope data and search for those telltale signatures. But I mean, it makes sense.
I mean, it does make sense. It does. It also sounds made up. Not gonna lie.
I mean,
but also too, I think
if there are aliens out there, I bet they're smart as.
Oh yeah, I mean they've got to be to stay the hell away from us. Because I mean, just picture it.
We're stupid.
If we get our hands on an actual, real, live alien, what is the first thing that you think human beings are going to do to it?
Kill it.
Test. Yeah, kill it. Run tests on it. Like, yeah, no, they're probably like, we're probably like the Antioch of the solar system. And they lock their doors when they drive by.
For you non-Tennesseans, non-Middle Tennesseans, you don't know what that means, but that's funny.
They're probably
funny.
like, it's ghetto.
Don't roll your windows down. Don't make eye contact.
Right.
Keep the doors locked.
Even if they want to wash your windows, you don't look at them.
Keep your peace within arm's reach. Lord. Alright, so then number 3, alien planets may look nothing like Earth. Typically the search for alien life begins with the search for Earth-like planets. But there may be another class of alien world that is just as conducive to life, a study published in the Astrophysical Journal in August contends. Hycean planets, which are up to 2.5 times larger than Earth and sport huge oceans of liquid water beneath hydrogen-rich atmospheres, could be the ideal spot for microbial life similar to the extremophiles that thrive in some of Earth's harshest environments, such as hydrothermal vents, the study author said. Not only are these planets abundant in the Milky Way galaxy, but they are also incredibly diverse, some orbiting very close to their host star, others orbiting far away. Both could potentially host itty-bitty life beneath their waves, meaning that there may be a whole new avenue for exploration for alien planet hunters. So, I mean, like, when you think aliens, you think, like, little green people, but, like, really and honestly, like, it could be microscopic little things.
Yeah, they could be itty-bitty tiny, but I also like the tall grays.
Yeah.
Those, like, long, gangly aliens.
You know what the itty-bitty makes me think of?
What?
You ever seen Horton Hears a Who?
Nope.
What?
No, never seen that. Oh, kids, why am I watching that?
Why
I
wouldn't
say
you?
that, but I'm going to the movie theater to see Haunted Mansion. I didn't even know they were making a new one.
So also, now, one of Saturn's moons still holds potential for life. The methane wafting from Enceladus, Saturn's sixth largest moon, may be a sign that life teems in the moon's subsurface area. In 2005, NASA's Cassini-Saturn orbiter discovered geysers blasting particles of water ice into space from tiger stripe fractures near Enceladus' south pole. That material is thought to come from a huge ocean of liquid water that sloshes beneath the moon's icy shell. But it wasn't just water that the orbiter found. Numerous other compounds, including dihydrogen, and a variety of carbon-containing organic compounds, including methane, also appeared in the geysers. In the new study, researchers ran a series of models to determine whether those compounds could be evidence of microbes that eat dihydrogen and produce methane as waste. The team found that methane farting microbes could indeed be contributing to the planet's gassy geysers, meaning life can't be ruled out on the icy moon. I'm sorry. Farts are funny. I'm 15. I couldn't not giggle.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely... I'm like, is that what's like powering a whole ass little moon?
Right.
Farts?
If we could power things off of farts, why haven't we already figured this out?
I don't know. I'm sure
I'd never have to pay another power bill.
Cow farts are like what's like contributing to the deterioration of our ozone. It's cow farts. Because apparently they're like really high in methane or something. And where we like overproduce cows so we can eat them. Not to get all hippy dippy on you. That's just what I've heard. I don't know if that's actually
put that
scientific
out there
fact.
because I like cows, okay?
I do like cows, but I don't know. Are cows killing our planet? Was that their goal this whole time?
Are they aliens?
No thoughts behind those eyes, but...
Are they aliens?
That's a motorcycle. I thought it was thunder. I got really excited for a second.
So, according to Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb's recent book, Extraterrestrial, The First Sign of Intelligent Life Beyond Earth, the strange cigar-shaped... I can't pronounce this word. It is spelled Oumua, which zoomed through our solar system in 2017, is most certainly a piece of alien technology. In his book, he argues that the object's unusual elongated shape, extreme brightness, and apparent acceleration away from the sun suggests that it is not natural in origin, but a piece of alien technology, possibly jettisoned into our solar system accidentally.
Why am I picturing...
It looks like a big turd.
Oh, is that what it looks like?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm picturing as somebody who hasn't seen it, a giant, like, vibrator.
I mean, it is
just
roughly
like
that shape.
Zooming around.
But it very much so looks like a giant turd, like a giant long log. Like, not Joe Dirt turd, you know, because in that movie, he thought he had, like, something from space, but it was really just airplane turds. A buoy, a grid of pods for communication, other intelligent living organisms, defunct technology, or discarded technological trash, Loeb wrote. These are all plausible explanations for this mystery. Plausible because here on Earth, humanity is already doing these things, albeit on a far more limited scale. A majority of astronomers who have studied the object favors natural explanations, calling it a cosmic dust bunny or just a really old comet. It's really just alien turds.
That's what it sounds like, if I'm being honest.
Alright, so here's this next one. While human efforts to find alien civilizations among the stars have only kicked off in the last century or so, more than 1,700 alien civilizations could have been watching us for thousands of years prior. Ew.
Yeah, stop watching me.
According to a study published in June of 2021, in the journal Nature, 1,715 nearby star systems have had a perfect viewing angle of Earth over the last 5,000 years, and more than 1,400 of them still have a clear view today. All of these stars sit within about 300 light years of our planet, and 75 of them orbit less than 100 light years away. Given that humans have been transmitting radio signals for about 100 years, any of those 75 star systems are near enough that our radio waves could have washed over them already.
You imagine, picture it. You're just a little alien or person or whatever that lives on one of these little, like in a colony or whatever, on one of these little stars, okay? And they're like, our neighbors are so loud. Because all we're doing is trying to, like, put radio waves out into space, and everybody in space is like, I wish Earth would just shut up.
Right. I have, 3 more of these facts? There's no best way to communicate with aliens. If aliens are watching us from relatively close by, what's the best way to tell them where we live? Live science writer Joanna Thompson investigated this question in December 21, finding that no one method is flawless. On one hand, radio waves are a tempting way to communicate with extraterrestrials because those signals fit in a convenient gap in the electromagnetic spectrum called the water hole, a frequency between 1420 and 1720 megahertz that's relatively free of cosmic background noise. On the other hand, radio waves broaden as they travel, meaning any message we send will become more diluted the further from Earth it gets. Laser light does not have this problem. However, laser signals require incredible precision and are unlikely to reach any alien observers unless we target our message directly to their star system. Both methods have their advantages and neither are perfect. This next one, our own technology might be getting in the way. On April 29th of 2019, astronomers detected a signal beaming toward Earth, it seemed from Proxima Centauri, the nearest star system to our sun and home to at least one potentially habitable planet. Because the signal fell into a narrow band of radio waves that are rarely made by human aircraft satellites, researchers interpreted it as a possible sign of alien technology, but the signal never repeated, and a study published in October of 21 in the journal Nature Astronomy explains why. The signal was actually coming from a malfunctioning computer or cellular device located near the telescope that detected it. In the new study, the researchers looked over the 2019 data again and found several lookalike signals that seemed to be missing components of the so-called alien transmission. Together, these signals fit a range of frequencies consistent with common clock oscillator frequencies used in digital electronics. In other words, this alien message seems to have been a human computer on the fritz, but studying and identifying it still gives scientists valuable experience in separating real deep space signals from earthly noise. Ooh, I don't like this one. Lucid dreaming, in which people are partially aware and can control their dreams during sleep, could explain so-called alien abduction stories. It makes sense.
Excuse me. My watch is talking. But it makes sense.
It does.
It definitely does. Because, like, as somebody who feels like they have had some lucid dreams, it's very much feels like you're living real life.
Isn't there a song called Lucid Dreams?
I have no idea.
I'm trying.
Probably.
My computer kind of just did a thing and it's not responding, so give me a second to continue with the story.
But, like, I've had lucid dreams where, like, dead relatives have been in them, and it genuinely feels like I'm getting to see them again. And I don't know if that's just my imagination, you know, comforting me.
Right.
But it did feel very real. And, like, in the dream, I'm like, I know this won't last long because I'm dreaming. I know I'm dreaming.
Right.
Like, even, like, I couldn't tell you what the dream was, but, like, a couple of nights ago, I vividly remember I was having a dream, and I said, well, I'm going to have to go now. I'm done with this dream.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew. See, I have dreams, but I rarely remember them for me to know.
Oh. I used to have a dream when I was a little kid. I could tell you dreams I had when I was a little kid. So I used to have a dream, a reoccurring dream, that there were skeletons living in my parents' basement, dancing. Mm-hmm.
Spooky, scary skeletons.
Basically, yes. Or there was one that I kept having, still to think about it to this day, just freaks me out. So I stayed a lot at my grandparents' house. And at one point in my childhood, I got very scared of my Nana because I would have, and I had it a lot. It wasn't like a one and done kind of dream. I had it several times where she was cutting up and killing babies and keeping them in her refrigerator.
Ew.
Yeah. So I'm like 6, 7, 8 maybe. I don't know. Terrified that my Nana is a baby killer. I don't know.
So lucid dreams, explain to me, those are dreams that, like, you can feel what's going on and it feels very real.
Yes. Because, like, not too long ago, I had one about my granny. I was, like, beating on her front door. And, like, because I knew, I was like, I hope she's home. I hope she's home. I saw her peek out of her little blinds on her front door. Yeah. And all I did was hug her. And it felt like I could feel that hug.
The only dreams I can think of that I've ever had that I remember that were very, like, I could feel them, like it was really happening, are dreams that I was either A, dreaming that I was going to the bathroom and then I actually peed myself in real life.
Oh, yeah, I've done that.
Or, dirty dreams.
That too.
Those are messed up.
Yes, very much so.
Those are
But yeah, I've had a lot of dreams that I can remember even now. So
anyway, so back to this. Claims of such abductions date to the 19th century. The circumstances of the kidnappings would often sound dreamlike and trigger feelings of terror and paralysis. Certain dream states are also known to produce such feelings. So Russian researchers wondered whether dream experiments could provide clues about alleged extraterrestrial experiences. I just had a thought. Remind me when I'm done with this paragraph.
Okay.
The scientists prompted 152 lucid dreamers to dream about encounters with aliens or UFOs and found that a number of sleepers reported dreams that resembled actual descriptions of alleged alien abductions. Of those who described their dream encounters as realistic, 24% also experienced sleep paralysis and intense fear. Such emotions often accompany reports of supposed alien abductions, and though individuals who describe being kidnapped by aliens might truly believe that what they experienced was real, These people were likely experiencing an extraterrestrial meeting while in a lucid dream, the study authors reported.
I was gonna say, like, could it be possible that aliens know how to, like, extract our souls, and, like, that's why we can encounter them in lucid dreams, and they're like,
or maybe they can tap into our psyches.
Well, yeah, or something like that.
So then, like, when you were probed, is that you really just having a wet dream about aliens? That was my question.
I don't know, but
still don't send those DMs. I don't want to see.
Yeah, please. Do not slide into our DMs.
Not with that.
But, like,
get that shit out of here.
But, like, I mean, would it be possible that I mean, if they've got, like, little vibrators flying around in the sky with no exhaust, I mean, it's entirely possible that they've got some kind of technology to, like, read into our minds.
Right? Little vibrators floating around them. I swear to you, if one day I'm just sitting there and I look out my window and I see a vibrator running across the sky, I'm going to lose it.
I'm going to know it's aliens.
Oh, but that was the last one I had.
Well, shit.
What are y'all doing? Rest in peace.
Well,
are we ready for my nonprofit?
Yes.
All right. So what I have picked is the IAAS, which is the International Association for Astronomical Studies. Their mission statement is the International Association for Astronomical Studies provides research opportunities for students while supporting agencies, organizations, and scientists from NASA, JPL, Stanford University, Caltech, and NSF with research data. The IAAS also provides students with marketable skills for the workforce through hands-on studying and application of knowledge. IAAS members develop self-confidence, learning to apply all of their core discipline subjects from school to their individual work on programs and projects with the IAAS. Members work with teams to develop their skills and learn application of social skills. Members also have the opportunity to work with experts and professional personnel on real-world, real-time projects and programs. So I thought, since we were doing aliens, we ought to do something science-y.
Yeah.
And here we are. But their website shows like what projects they're currently working on and stuff like that. Stuff that they've already done. It's a pretty cool little place. Pretty cool. It's out of Colorado.
I thought you were going to say Texas for sure.
No.
Because that seems very Texas-y. I mean, that's where part of NASA is in Texas, so.
Well, maybe that's why there's all the alien stuff.
Maybe. Could be.
Could be.
I don't know. My sister lives real close to Cape Canaveral.
Yeah.
Florida, so I don't know. I'll have to ask her. Do you see aliens?
I'm sure if she did, you'd already know.
Oh yeah, she would have called me and been like, I saw this little green man running down the street.
So, but that's it.
Well, you gotta follow us on Instagram,
TikTok,
Twitter,
Facebook,
email us
at
wandersofweird@gmail.com. Who we're gonna tell this week? Tell your.
You know who we're not telling?
Who we're not telling?
My achy breaky heart.
Don't tell my heart.
Let's tell.
You could tell. Let's
that
tell.
Weirdo down the street that wears the tinfoil hats.
Yes, I recommend him this episode or her. It could be. We don't discriminate.
Right. Leave us reviews. We did have. So if you guys listen to us, if you guys are listening to us on Spotify, each episode from like a certain point on allows you to tell us what you think about that episode.
Oh, yeah.
On our Appalachian episode about moonshine.
Yes.
We had one.
Yes.
That said that was his favorite episode.
Oh my gosh.
Hunter.
That was a good episode.
It was a good episode. That was Hunter's favorite episode. He said any episode that we discuss NASCAR, moonshine, and popcorn Sutton, he's in.
Cool.
So thank you so much, Hunter. He is one of our biggest supporters, our biggest listeners. He listens to every episode. He's listened to every episode multiple times, I'm pretty sure. He says he listens all the time.
That's so cute. I
so
like that.
He actually texted me Wednesday and was like, what time does the episode come out? And I was like, 6 o'clock. And he was like, oh, well, I know that usually when I wake up to go to work, it's already out. And so I listen to it on the way to work. But I've been home today and I've been waiting all day.
Bless it.
But yes, leave us reviews. We've made it to over 1,000 downloads.
Yeah. I need a pew 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 pew. Yeah, that was exciting. We're almost to 1,100 already.
I know. It was like 1,080 something when I looked earlier.
Oh, the last time I looked, it was like 1,079, I think. But
1,083 as of this very second.
I was really just like, I can't believe we made it to 1,000.
I know.
So,
and
thank you.
We've gotten a couple more followers on the TikTok this week, as well as the Facebook. Nice. We've had a little bit more engagement as far as likes and stuff go with those. We appreciate that. My husband is convinced that the followers are because he was featured in 2 of the posts in the past week. Because he says he's just that good looking. I said, okay, if that's why they came to the podcast, imagine their disappointment when they found out you're not actually on the podcast. So, it is probably... I'm not saying it won't happen, and I'm not saying that I'm against it happening, but it probably will never happen that he's ever on this podcast.
Can you imagine us having to move this whole Janktown setup?
You know that episode... So, you've been watching the Shane Dawson podcast, yes?
Ish, yeah.
Okay, so did you see the episode where Chris brought his boyfriend and Jared brought his wife?
Oh, I love Jared's wife.
We could do something like that.
Yeah, that'd be cute.
Where we have TJ and Daniel.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm here for it.
We can figure it out.
But
I don't know what in the hell we're going to talk about, but
we'll figure something out.
We'll definitely have to be not in this room.
Yeah, right. We can talk about the things that we do that get on their nerves.
Oh my God. They can tell us their icks.
Can we have a marriage counselor come the same day?
Oh, Lord.
But while you're out sharing us out and following us on our pages, we also posted our Amazon wish list.
Oh yeah, I was looking at that today.
We are not...
I don't know how to add things to it. I'm like an old lady.
I'll show you later.
Okay.
We are not begging for you guys to do this.
No, you definitely... You don't have to buy us anything.
I realize that the majority of the things that are on that are very expensive.
I'm going to put some books in there.
Right. But I have it set up to where if you can think of something that you think that we need, be it a book that we can use for research on an episode topic that you might want to hear.
Yeah. Or
anything that you think we can need or we should need, you can send that to us. It's set up to where, you guys can send us things that aren't on our list.
Yeah.
So, but if you happen to have a rich uncle or are a rich uncle,
are you the rich uncle?
And you feel like throwing, a couple $100 worth of stuff, a laptop or 2 or some high dollar good mics for us to have better sound quality, or some cameras so that we could maybe add a video aspect to this situation, possibly one day.
I'm so ugly.
Oh my God.
I don't want to be on the internet.
Go ahead and throw that stuff our way. I'm not opposed to it, but also again, I'm not begging for it.
It's there should you feel inclined.
Right. We're not desperate for it. I'm not going to start an OnlyFans to fund our podcast shenanigans.
I don't know. I thought about selling feet pics.
Of the cats or of you?
Both. Willow really gets in there.
Yes.
She'll sit there and lick her between her toes. It's disgusting.
Ew. No. The misophonia. I can't do it. Can't do it. But
it's there should you feel inclined.
Yep.
But Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.